What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and like most people, I'll be out eating food, watching football, and catching up with that estranged part of the family that has sitcom potential, which means there won't be Newswave tomorrow. No, there also won't be Newswave on Friday. We're just going to make it a 4-day weekend, and then we'll be back on Monday with the next episode of Newswave, December 1st. So already into December is crazy. There will still be videos, though, at 8 a.m. each morning, so just keep an eye out for that. There'll be some fun stuff out there. But today, though, we have some interesting things to go over, which does include a pretty sizable leak coming out of Ubisoft for one of my more anticipated games that we're expecting to have fully revealed here pretty soon. We also have Nintendo dropping new games into NSO, and there is a long-awaited remake that has finally released, and you can check it out today for free. And hey, free? Always a good thing. All of that and more. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button or link in the description down below. And we're going to start today with Anbernic and their DS system, the emulation device that's still slated to come out next month in December, but some preview versions of the hardware has gone out, and there's an unfortunate thing happening right now. As you can see this is over on social media with Gamma on their X account saying, "I'm currently working on fixing the Anbernic RGDS screen issues." And you can see it's, the video, the screens aren't synced up. Kind of a problem for DS games, I think, especially for fast-moving ones like Sonic. Now, some menu-based ones you might not notice, but the fact that this is an issue is concerning. This person does work on the Gamma OS, so we should see that maybe, I guess, as a fix for that, but you will have to then update it further. It's just weird that this is a bug, I guess, that people are noticing in like the early builds of this system. Again, those are going out, people are reviewing them and checking them out, it looks like. And I'm interested in this device because of the price point and the functionality with the dual screens, of course, being able to emulate DS games. This would probably be a deal breaker for a lot of people, though, because it looks bad in motion. I don't know. So we'll see if, I guess, for at least Gamma OS can fix it, or maybe it's something Anbernic can iron out before they start shipping out the retail versions for consumers. Also, we did have an update for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. This we can see over on My Nintendo News. That's 1.0.2. Okay, so this will launch November 27th, so you can check that out actually tomorrow then. And it has quite a bit of content to it. They have new challenges, new weapons, new exclusive Sync Strike. You can also fight alongside of Block Golem, and along with that, there are new battles that have been added as they have listed here. And there's just functionality improvements for battles, the map, challenges, etc. And a ton of bug fixes that they have listed. So this is pretty cool to have just free content being added in for Age of Imprisonment, which is already a pretty massive game. I think Sean mentioned to me he was like 40 or 50 hours into the game after he had beaten it, but he's still kind of playing the game because there's just a lot happening in it. So having these free updates that go out, even though it's pretty close to release, it's still something just as a nice to have alongside of different bug fixes that they're ironing out here. So if you have Age of Imprisonment, you can download this actually tomorrow and get some new content. Or maybe if it's something you're going to be picking up or having gifted to you, we'll say for the holiday season, there'll be even more stuff for you to download when you get the game. Oh, and here's some good news for a game last generation that is absolutely incredible. That's Nier Automata. The problem has been hasn't worked on the Switch 2 correctly through backwards compatibility, at least until now with that latest firmware patch that went out. So Nintendo pushed a very small firmware, all right? And people were looking to see what the update was, and it turns out it fixed some backwards compatibility issues. And as you can see, this is noted by Nintendo Life, Nier Automata, as of November 25th, the game's listing has been updated as supported on the Switch 2, with the note that previously identified issues have been fixed. Now, I think this is a game that should have a significant free update, one that unlocks the frame rate, maybe ups the visual quality, the resolution. That the game would run significantly better, obviously, on the Switch 2 than what the Switch 1 was able to pull off. And it's an awesome game, but it would be much better if they had it at 60 FPS on the Switch 2 rather than the capped 30 and the lower image quality. Still, though, at least it works now, and that's kind of the first step to getting there. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with a major leak that has now hit Ubisoft. And this is a strange situation because what happened here is a presentation from, it looked like an internal meeting was just kind of leaked online and it was getting passed around. And then here comes Ubisoft, as you'd expect, just start striking down any links, and people were uploading it quickly. Ubisoft's coming in and then taking it down. Now, it seems that there is one link in particular that is still up, and I did happen to check this thing out. It was up long enough for me to watch through it. It wasn't like super long or anything. It was like 5 or 6 minutes, something like that, of relevant information. There were points in time where they're just kind of talking to the team specifically about like teamwork and stuff. Typical like internal development corporate stuff, but we did get a pretty good look at the game and mostly ideas. All right, so as I was going through this, I did notice a lot of this is pre-alpha. It's not even alpha, it's pre-alpha. In fact, some of the videos they showed to just demonstrate gameplay or any mechanics, there weren't even textures on objects or characters. It was literally like almost think of stick figure blobs running around, and that was just to show off some of the things they wanted to incorporate in the game, because this presentation seems to be from 1.5 to 2 years ago. It is a long time ago, so I have no idea why this just randomly showed up now, but there were some slide decks that they had that at least gave us an indication as to some changes, or you can even say, I think, upgrades to what we had with Sands of Time. And look, it's an awesome game. It's one that I have very fond memories of, specifically on the GameCube way back in the day. Out of the three, Sands of Time is actually my favorite one. That's over, yes, Warrior Within or Two Thrones. Something about Sands of Time, it was such an interesting game when it came out. I mean, it really rebooted Prince of Persia into this kind of 3D action adventure style game. But even like the parkour and using the dagger to freeze the enemies specifically as you're jumping around them, really cool stuff. So I'm excited to see what they can do here with all the newer technology and a lot of the stuff they've learned throughout the past couple of decades now. But we can see this over on VGC, all right, as they were noting part of the slide deck specifically. One of the key focuses in the presentation is Princess Farah, who appeared in the original 2003 version of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. According to the leaked presentation, Farah returns in the Sands of Time remake and once again accompanies the player with no plans to make her a playable character, all right? However, the presentation appears to stress that there will no longer be a requirement to save Farah during battles, suggesting that she should be able to take care of herself now. Quote, in this new game, combat has been modernized, blending familiar acrobatic attacks with new advanced acrobatic moves. Time powers have been enhanced to offer a wide array of options in battles. The combat system and enemies have been revamped, new ways to defeat enemies, improved boss fights. From now on, Farah is a true ally, capable of fighting independently with her bow and executing cooperative attacks. There is no longer a need to protect her. And as somebody who spent, we'll say several hours last year when I was doing some of the emulation stuff for the PS2 side, who played through a good chunk of Sands of Time. Here's the thing, all right? So if you play through Sands of Time, Farah at times was like a hindrance completely. I'm sure there are many people out there who can think of times where she was the reason you get a game over screen. All right, there's one part with an elevator that look there's like full flashbacks and stuff happening. All right, so I like the idea that it won't be somewhat of an escort mission, you know, when she's around in the game, and she could still help out before, but she's like a bow attack, and I feel like remember, I think the arrow would like actually hurt you too. I think this is a good thing for the game because it would feel very, very off if they just did the exact same thing way back in the day as they would do here then with Farah. And I think it'd be much better if she was able to help out in battles, again, more independently, and be able to take care of herself, as they say here, because otherwise it would just be flat out annoying, to be honest. So I do like this direction. They have some images of the characters and video and stuff. To be honest, it's like super low resolution. I mean, it might have been 360p. And again, it's pre-alpha, so you really can't judge a lot off of how the characters look in what seems to be 1.5 to 2 year old footage. But here's the thing, we're gonna find out in few weeks, actually. December 11th is when we're expecting to see the re-reveal of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, and it sounds like the thing would be coming out then a month later, second or third week of January. So for me, I'm excited to see what they have in a more official reveal rather than a 360p internal meeting that Ubisoft keeps striking, try to keep it down from the internet. Because the other thing I noticed, and I do get why some of these companies get really concerned when this kind of footage gets out there, or doesn't even want to share internal images or videos, because you see people online going, oh my gosh, look at this character. How are they going to do this? And it's like, dude, there aren't even textures really on the character. It's like pre-alpha footage. So if you're a company trying to put this kind of development time, because they rebooted it several years, a lot of money into it, you'd like the first impression to be something that looks better. That's probably not what they're going to look like necessarily when they show it off for the first time here in a few weeks. But hey, I guess we'll find out on December 11th. Next up, let's talk about Nintendo, as they did announce new additions for their Switch Online service. We can see this over on their official X account, saying these NES and Game Boy games are now available to play for Nintendo Switch Online members. And you know what? These are all really good. So Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos, Battletoads, Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, and Bionic Commando. That is a lineup right there. So here's the really cool thing, of course. This would be for the $20 tier, not the expansion pack $50 a year tier. So there are many people who then this would make sense for, because they go, oh wow, cool, I can check this out right now. And honestly, I mean, look, Battletoads is difficult, but it's a classic, right? There was the whole meme going on of people calling GameStop asking for Battletoads. I remember that, all right? We used to have, again, we were in a retro store. People would call as like a funny thing, do you have Battletoads? We did, because we were a retro store, and it was just kind of like, oh, all right, that's not how I thought this would go, and they would hang up. But Ninja Gaiden 2, another tough-as-nails NES classic game. Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters. I played Kid Icarus on the NES. I really didn't play it much on the Game Boy, so that's interesting. And kind of the same thing with Bionic Commando. So I was looking at the visuals. They do it in like the green kind of style, which is fun. But I like the fact that Nintendo does have to make trailers, technically like paste them together and stuff. And it's just fun to see, oh yeah, Battletoads, Ninja Gaiden 2, Kid Icarus, and Bionic Commando. And they're available to play right now. So go check them out. Again, this would then apply to basically anyone, right, with an NSO account. And some have even mentioned, hey, some of those games that are coming out now, like Pokemon and a few others, you open it up and there is a week free trial of NSO. So if you have one of those, you can go ahead and fire up Ninja Gaiden 2 or Battletoads right away on the NES. Next up, let's talk about a long-awaited remake that is now out. And I've seen some of you in the comments mention this. I said, hold on. I want to play it for myself first. So I carved out some time yesterday, sat down, and I didn't really have to install it. You just kind of download it, extract it. You have an exe, and then you fire it up, and you're off and running with Timesplitters. That's right. Here, look, I have some footage for you guys here. I had to play around with some of the resolutions so OBS didn't do weird things when I was trying to record, because OBS is going to OBS. But either way, I put it down to a 1080p resolution. Normally I had it at 1440p, like ultra widescreen. All that was fine. It was really, really cool looking. But I played through some of the initial mission here at the tomb. I did go online just to see how chaotic it was, and it was certainly chaotic. But I was really happy to see that there were a bunch of rooms that were open, and most of them were full. So really cool stuff here. Timesplitters Rewind, though, is a project that's been in the works for years and years and years. It's had like the blessing of the original team behind it, so it doesn't seem like it's going to be going anywhere, nothing like that. It is in early access right now. They're very upfront with it, but it's also free. So it's like, all right, whatever, it's early access, I can check it out. And their early access is kind of loose the way they say it, because it has more content than many complete retail releases nowadays. I mean, look, 28 maps, online and offline story mode, so you can play online with friends going through the story mode, 51 arcade leagues, 32 challenges, 96 characters, 41 weapons, 20 arcade game modes, new game mode with team elimination, updated game mode with Last Stand, online and offline arcade with bots, and then 10 players online. And yes, it is insane online when you play, because people will turn all kinds of power-ups and fun custom modes. But I gotta tell you guys, it's good. It's fun. There was a little bit of initial stuttering when I first started it up, but after that, it was smooth sailing. Like the frame rate was really solid across the board, and it looked awesome. I had to think about it. I went, hold on, let me look up some of the old footage again for Timesplitters 1, because it has Timesplitters 1, 2, and everything. Like, you just go through all of them, and as you progress through these different missions, they'll continue to unlock. So I had to go back and look. I mean, yeah, it's crunchy looking, but man, it's for this being just kind of a project by fans for the most part who wanted to see Timesplitters come back and being years and years in the making, it's impressive stuff. And again, it's free. It's like 15 some odd gigabytes, I think, for the download. Then you have to extract it. So they say make sure you have 30 some odd gigabytes free. And that's small, again, in comparison to a lot of the big releases, but it is really cool. So yeah, I recommend checking it out. I had no issues with it, and I am curious to see where it goes from here. It's always fun to have Timesplitters back in the news. I just wanted to get a chance to play it. Thought I would do so ahead of Thanksgiving break so I could let you guys know, hey, You got some Timesplitters to play today and tomorrow. Go check it out. And in our last bit of news, I am going to leave you with some deals here with GOG, as they do have their Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals up right now. And I noticed not only is it for just newer games that they have set up, but also for their preservation program, which means they have titles going way, way back in the day, ones that have been at least updated to run on more modernized systems and operating systems. So let's take a look. I made a quick list, and of course I'll have this link down below and we'll kind of scroll through some of it here. But we'll start at the top here. Witcher 2, that one is $3. Witcher 3 is $10. Also want to note, because you're buying off of GOG, these would all be DRM free. You download them, you just have an exe that you install on your desktop and you're just good to go. You have Silent Hill 2, that one's $35. Alpha Protocol, if you remember, this went through a whole thing where it was pulled down off the internet for, I don't know, rights issues or something behind the scenes, but it did get put back up here on GOG, $13. Breath of Fire 4, $5. Dino Crisis, $5. Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, the game that people look back on as the best one in the entire Dragon Age series, it's $8, guys, Ultimate Edition. Mortal Kombat Trilogy, $6. Mad Max, $3. Cold Fear, this seemed to be a new addition to their preservation program here. It's $12. Rayman 2, $1.50. Freedom Fighters, $1.50. Hitman Blood Money, $1. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the last 3 games, you can get them for less than $5 complete there, all of them. Then you have Resident Evil Classic Bundle. This has a bunch of the classic Resident Evil games all in one shot. $21. Again, a lot of these older games have been updated so they would run on your Windows 10 or Windows 11, say, devices with all of your new video cards, resolutions, the whole thing there, usually controller support. So just wanted to point that out. I know there's a lot of deals flying around, but GOG has a pretty deep library at this point, especially when you take into account some of their preservation programs of older games and then some of the newer stuff. And when you see those kind of discounts, makes sense to at least point them out just so you know they're there. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, have you played a Timesplitters game? Okay, 39% say yes, 61% say no. Okay, good news, I have a game for you guys, okay? Timesplitters Rewind. I don't know if you've heard of it yet, but it's an entire remake of like all these Timesplitters games thrown into one, and it's free. Yeah, I'm doing the pitch all over again. I mean, you can see the website here, guys. Got all kinds of content. It's free in early access. You could download it and try it out. 28 maps, online, offline story mode, 20 arcade game modes, 10 players online, offline arcade with bots, updated game mode, last stand, new game mode, team elimination, 32 challenges, 96 characters, 41 maps, 51 arcade leagues. Yeah, so there you go. If you haven't heard about it yet, go try it out. I'll have a link down below in the sources. Oh, and I should have mentioned as well, it seems like it's gonna run on a potato. They have the minimum spec requirements here, and it's 8 gigabytes of RAM, an Intel Atom processor, and a GTX 760, so some pretty intense stuff there. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Ghost of the North saying, I swear as every day goes by, I find one more reason to hate AI. That's the thing I've noticed is originally the idea was, hey, this is pretty useful. It's kind of cool. It's like an advanced search engine, which is still the way I use AI. Like if I'm curious about something, hey, compile a bunch of information around this thing and give me sources for everything you find. Because the thing I've realized as I've used it, sometimes AI is wrong, and it's like confidently wrong. And if you point it out, sometimes it'll fight you on it until it just says, oh, you know what? You're kind of right, actually. Maybe that's not correct. Here's the real answer. It's like, hold on, what do you mean the real answer? So AI can do some weird stuff. So even when it answers something back, you have to kind of look at it and go, that seems right. That's why I asked for the sources, so you can go take a look from there. But it's sort of evolved into making video and doctoring photos and doing a lot of stuff that kind of bends reality. And now it's found its way into reality because it's just legitimately affecting costs and prices for just people with everyday items at this point, but also things you do with extracurricular activities where you're building computers or whatever, right? Game consoles. It starts to find its way into entertainment, and then people get really annoyed because that's what they use to escape from a lot of the annoyances in real life that AI is starting to make even more annoying. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll leave it up here in a card. Or maybe you want to reminisce about the good old days, like 20 years ago when the Xbox 360 launched. I did a video remembering all of that, and I'll leave it right below it. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hey, if you're celebrating, have a great Thanksgiving. All right, eat some food, see some friends, all that good stuff. And I'll see you back here, guys, Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for Newswave.